Resurrection rolls are such a great way to celebrate Easter, and they're delicious and are really fun to make with your kids. There's a full recipe video linked here and linked down below for making the dough. Right now I'm just going to show you how you use my master recipe for simple sweet sourdough to make sourdough resurrection rolls. So first you're going to get your ingredients ready. I'm using 9 marshmallows, a 1/4 cup of melted butter, and a mixture of cinnamon sugar, about 1/4 cup of sugar to a teaspoon of cinnamon. After my dough has bulk fermented for 4 to 8 hours, this was 6 hours here, I get it out and move it onto the counter. And if you want some tips on how to judge when bulk fermentation is done, make sure you check out this video linked here and down below to make sure that your dough is risen enough, has the right texture, is not too sticky. You can see that I can pull my dough off the counter and it's not sticking too much. It's a little bit tacky, but it's not overly sticky. It's not sticking to me. But you want to use a little bit of flour during the shaping process and roll out the circle into a 11-inch by about 11 to 12-inch size circle. So once this is rolled out, you're going to cut it with I'm using a rolling pizza cutter here. You can also use a sharp knife. And I'm gonna cut it into thirds first, and then I'm gonna cut each third into 3 pieces. So there's 9 wedges total, so about 9 triangles. And for easier, because I'm making these with kids, like this is really the best part about this recipe is it's a really great one to use with kids because they love getting hands-on with baking, and then it's a really great tool to teach them about what Easter is about and teach about the resurrection of Jesus in a very visual, hands-on way. So I put a few on a piece of parchment, and I transfer that to the table with all my filling ingredients. I recommend showing them first. I always love the method of teaching where I do it, we do it, you do it. So I first show the kids how to shape it, and I explain what each piece means. I take the marshmallow and I roll it in the melted butter. I explain that after Jesus died on the cross, they took his body, was anointed with oil, and also prepared with spices. I'm rolling it in the butter first to represent the oil, and then I'm going to put it in the roll. I'm going to take the 2 back ends of the triangle at the widest part behind the marshmallow, seal those together, and then roll the covered marshmallow up the rest of the triangle and seal all the edges so that I'm trying to get them completely closed so that as little marshmallow or sugar leaks out as possible during the baking process, and then arrange them on the baking sheet. Then I help each of my kids make their own resurrection roll. They love being able to do it themselves and learn this process. And each time we make one, we go over what the meanings are, and it's just a great way to talk about it and to ask them what do you think will happen, especially for the younger kids who haven't seen this before or don't remember what's going to happen, explaining what they're going to see and how it relates to the story. This would be a great way to bring out your Bible and read through the story with them during Holy Week or on Easter Sunday. So some recipes will have you rolling the marshmallow that's coated with butter in the cinnamon sugar mixture, but I find that when you're making this with kids, it gets a little messy if you do that. So I recommend putting it in the dough first and then sprinkling the cinnamon sugar on the top of it. This is such a forgiving recipe when you're making with kids. So it's okay if they make mistakes. It's okay if it gets a little messy. It still turns out delicious. So there's a lot of room for error, and it's a great way to teach your kids about baking and then teach them something that's meaningful about Easter, about Jesus's resurrection. And then you get to enjoy this treat together as you talk about what it means and what they noticed. So we take Jesus, and once he came off the cross, they put his body in the oils. Can you put the body in the oils?
Yeah. Sure.
And then roll it around so it's all covered in oils. Good job. Can we get the other side? And then you're gonna put that right here. Good job. Now we're gonna sprinkle on the spices, because after they rubbed his body in oils, they put spices on it. So on top of it, there you go. You got a little bit more, maybe a little bit more.
It's going good.
Oopsies, that's okay. A little more. That looks good.
This one's gonna be one of my favorites.
Okay, then they close the tomb. So we're gonna fold it. So can you pinch it right here, James?
Yeah, but
pinch it together. Pinch, pinch,
and then that's
pinch, and then we're gonna roll it. Roll it. Okay. I'm gonna pinch these sides. We aren't gonna let this one proof, actually. That's why you really want the bulk fermentation to go long enough. These bake right away because otherwise they would start to fall apart with all that moisture and that wet marshmallow inside. It would not have the same effect because it would start to dissolve and the seals would become weakened if it sat for too long. Make sure your oven is preheated before you started your shaping process, so it's already at 375. Okay, we ready for these to bake?
Yep.
Yes.
So after all your resurrection rolls are shaped, they're gonna bake at 375 for 14 to 17 minutes. They should look baked and set and slightly golden. I turn my oven from the regular setting to 375 degrees on convection. This allows the air to circulate more, gets them a little bit more of that golden brown color. So just 1 or 2 minutes on this convection setting, and then cool them on a cooling rack for 5 minutes. I love cutting one open to show the kids with that clean cut, the inside, the first roll, so they could see that effect and talk about it. And then we all enjoy them together. The texture of these rolls is really soft and fluffy. It's sweet. It is just perfect. It is a great treat to enjoy it just with your family for breakfast or share it with friends at an Easter brunch. But I hope that you enjoy making this. I would love to hear about how you incorporate it into your Easter traditions. You can see the full recipe post linked below. And I hope that you have a great Easter. He is risen.